Hey, it's Leslie with Comfortable Shoes Studio, and this is another episode of art making. In this episode, I'm going to make my own decorative tape. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be making my own decorative tape. I am using really inexpensive paper-based medical tape from Dollar Tree. Now, it did say it was paper-based, but I think this might actually be like a plastic paper. Um, I haven't tested it to see if it's plastic or not. But it was really inexpensive and it makes a really great decorative tape. So this is, you can get washi tape and that's great. I love washi tape. But I found that quite often washi tape just doesn't match my aesthetic or the colors that I'm using in my art journal. If you've been around my channel for any period of time, you know I like my bright colors. Really dig bright colors. Um, you know, do a lot of stuff with bright colors. So, a lot of oranges, reds, neon colors, and that's what I'm doing with this particular washi tape. So I'm using a combination of craft acrylic and Liquitex Basics for this particular set of tapes. So, I'm using bright, warm colors, just getting a bunch of color on there. I'm not doing a super heavy coat. I'm trying to make sure that I've got a good even coat of the acrylic paint and no big globs of acrylic. Just trying to like make sure I'm getting an even coat. I'm getting some blending of the colors. And I don't want big gobs of acrylic on there. Trying to avoid those in my art journal because it does tend to stick the pages together. So, I like large chunks of acrylic, but not in my art journal. I like texture, but I prefer to not have to wax my pages. So this, the tape is stuck to a silicone glue mat also from Dollar Tree. So I'm setting up another set of tapes here. You can work on both sides of the glue of the mat. So yeah, here I'm using a scraper and I'm scraping the paint around. That also worked really, really well. I'm using the same color family here. I'm using my little silicone scraper, just moving stuff around. I found that the medical tape really survived some pretty heavy scraping and moving of paint around. Got some neon red here on top of the other sort of magenta color and then the yellow. Just trying to build up some interesting color. Obviously, this is on strips of tape, so these sections will all be sort of separate from one another, but I'll have related marks across the tapes that I'll be using. So it'll really match my aesthetic in my art journal because these are colors I use a lot. Or they work really well against opposite colors that I might use in my art journal. So just a thin layer here. I do end up hitting this. Here I'm going to add some metallic. I don't have a lot of this metallic left, and I'm just like scooping out the stuff from the inside here, getting a little bit on there. I get a little heavy-handed with this here. I forgot that I used this copper color on here. The red and oranges and yellow do still show through this copper color quite a bit. It's pretty transparent copper color. As you can see there, you can see the thin coat. It adds just a nice little bit of shimmer to this tape. So makes for a nice tape. And now digging around in there, trying to get some more paint out. I do end up hitting this tape with a heat gun, and I'm just going to tell you that's a mistake. It separates the glue from the tape. So I will avoid that in the future and just let this dry naturally and on its own. So I'm using one of my favorite colors. This is a teal shade, turquoise, and it has a really vibrant pop against these warm colors. I'm just using a little bit of my scraper here on its edge to press that color in. I know it's doing some weird stuff to the camera, but I dig it. And then I'm scraping that through the paint, the wet paint, getting some smears and scrapes. Just playing around with it. And then I do add this shade of blue, which I'm not overly excited about, but I do end up liking the tape quite a bit. So I add a much thinner line of this with the teal. You could do this with an old credit card if you wanted to. You could brush it on, get a thin, liquidy. I'm just using this little scraper that I have. Just getting some variety in the color and the line that I got going on there. All right, so I hit this with a hairdryer. That's a mistake. Don't do that. To store this, I am using parchment paper, the kind of paper that you use in cooking and baking, and it does a great job. The tape will not stick to it permanently, but it'll adhere to it pretty darn well. So I'm just trimming up a little bit of a stray edge there. You can see the previous tape that I made, also only with acrylic paint. Same orange and yellow colorway, but I used bubble wrap on top of it, which is a thing I do a lot of, and you can see what the individual tapes look like here. I did find that putting the tape closer together on the glue silicone sheet thing really did help reduce the amount of sort of paint flashing around the edge. You get this like edge where the paint dries, and it leaves little lumpy edges. So putting your tape as close together as you can onto the backing is really important. Here I'm trimming off some of that glue flashing. I had to do a lot more trimming on my other sheet because my tape was a lot further apart. Anyway, hope you find this helpful, and I'll see you next time. Thanks and bye.